welcome to another episode of the DJ Force X podcast. Thank you for tuning in, or however you watch or listen to this. Thank you. Today's guest, very special one. I have Justin from the band Tallah. He's an absolute, I'd say a mammoth of a front man. Crazy front man. It's one of the craziest I've seen in a long time, to be honest with you. I've seen some live footage of you. I've not actually seen you live in the flesh, but I looked at videos. I've been following your band for probably like 3 or 4 years. Um, and you're about to release your third album as well, which we'll talk about shortly, called Primeval Obsession Detachment. But first of all, welcome, Justin.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. Honestly, like I said, I've actually been wanting to speak to you guys for a long time. And when the opportunity came up as last minute as it was, I'm all in. Um, so
Oh,
it's all good. And with the new tracks out and everything as well, it made me even want to more. Um, I'll put context behind that in a moment. Obviously, I'm not a mad fan, like a mad crazy fan person, but you carry a very uh you carry a torch that I love to carry as well, which is in the new metal field.
oh, heck
Um,
yeah.
I have been dubbed by a few people the godfather of UK new metal. I'll take that for what it's worth. Um, um, but like hearing you guys with the elements and everything in it, which we will deep dive in a moment. But yeah, so like I said, first of all, thank you for being a guest on this show.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
No worries, no worries. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the album. It's coming out on September the 5th, I believe. Is that the release date for it? I should have had that in
Correct.
front of me. I do. There it is. Yeah, so September the 5th, you're releasing your third album. Like I said, it's called Primeval Obsession Detachment. And it's via Earache Records as well.
Hmm.
Legendary UK label, that one, legendary metal label, I should say, as a whole. Very much many bands of my childhood have been attached to that label at some point. Um,
Absolutely.
how did your relationship come together with Earache? Obviously, being US based band essentially. How did that become like the relationship with Earache?
It's funny because it's almost like the type of thing you would expect from like a TV show or a movie. We had this song Placenta, and it was like one of just like 4 or 5 songs we had out at the time. And it just happened to get thrown into this new metal playlist on Spotify. And Digby, the head of Earache, just happened to be listening to it at the
Wow.
exact same time, heard the song, saw we were unsigned, and was like, I want these guys. Reached out to his I think it was our American rep, Al Dawson,
Yeah.
and he hit us up and was like, Hey, we're interested in seeing you guys. We were or signing you guys. We were out on this kind of like small tour with this band Fathom Farewell,
Okay.
and they watched us play and was like, "Yeah, I want you guys." And Al took us out to dinner and was like, "Well, if you guys are interested, we'll get the contracts going." Like, it was like 2, 3 months later we signed.
Wow. I love how quick that goes through.
It was so fast. It was really cool.
That's amazing. I love that, and the fact that Digby. I mean, Digby is always he owns the label. And
Hmm.
when I was a young man, many moons ago, I was in a band. I was in a new metal band. This is where my history of new metal comes in. I was in a UK new metal band. I was the turntablist in said band. Hence
Oh,
the
that is
DJ
cool.
behind me. Those things have been on tour with me around Europe and everything. And they're still going. They're like the original ones I had. Um,
Wow.
so they've got a lot of history attached to them, a lot of road like a lot of road behind them and everything. But yeah, Digby was always like the person that we would try and speak to or try and get the demo to and all that kind of stuff. um we got rejected. It's fine. We got signed by someone else, so it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, no, it's nice to know his name's still around as well, because like I've sort of lost touch with a lot of labels and stuff in that respect. But yeah, it's good to know he's still.
Yeah, we got to meet him back in 2019.
Yeah.
We played the Boomtown Festival, and he came out to it because the Earache had their own stage.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was really neat getting to meet him.
Nice, nice. And that was just down the road from me as well, Boomtown,
Really?
which is weird. But yeah, no, it's so funny because like I've seen you guys name around. I've never actually got to witness you live. you've played the UK quite a lot, so it's a bit like I feel a bit ashamed of it, to be honest.
Oh,
Um,
don't. I've only been to the UK twice,
oh,
so
okay, all right.
yeah,
Well,
it's
it's
all
still
good.
that's quite a lot for an American band, to be honest with you. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, once in 2019, and then last year we
yes,
had played two festivals in Europe, and we were like, "Hey, why don't we hit the UK before we go home?" And we did three shows, and it was probably three of the best shows we've ever played. It was awesome.
it's amazing. I love that. I absolutely love that, and I will catch you next time you're in the UK. I know
Heck yeah.
you haven't got anything announced yet, have you, on that front? But
Not yet. We just are doing tours again. September we're going to be doing like an album release little run, and then we're going on tour in November with King 810.
yes,
And
yeah,
that's all we've done this year. We kind of wanted to take the year off to work on just promoting the album, getting it out there. And then I was having some health issues, and I was like, can we not tour so like my immune system can get better?
no, that's fair enough. That's good. You can actually take time out to do that because a lot of bands feel they should be on the road a lot, doing constant, like to stay in the public eye. It seems to be, hopefully,
Yeah.
it's going to go back the other way where artists can rest. Like a lot of this social media is kind of like you've got to keep putting out content. You've got to be putting stuff up, and I'm like, I just want to chill. I want to.
Yeah, it's
If I go on
bad. Like
holiday, I
I've been
don't
on
want
YouTube since 2006,
to.
and for the longest time I've been able to just release a video and it just does well on its own. I don't have to constantly pump out content.
Yeah.
But they've changed everything. I've noticed this year, like I've been uploading and nothing gets views anymore. And I'm like, what? I have like 160,000 subscribers. Why is this like only getting like 1,000 views? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so different now than it used to be.
Yeah, no, exactly. And everyone talks about the algorithms and stuff, but
Hmm.
obviously they want people to repeatedly get on the website. So the more
Yep.
content you drop, the more likely they are to push people towards that content because you're dropping daily or dropping every other day or whatever. Um, and I'm tired. YouTube, I'm tired. TikTok,
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that in either.
tired. I'm just so tired. I do this once a week show. I do this podcast, and that's enough for me, and that's what I want to do. But if I have to keep fighting
Yeah.
for views, actually, I do this all independently, to be fair. So I have no sponsors. I pay for the whole thing.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. That's awesome.
and I've always tried to keep as independent as possible when I can. But I'm happy to promote bands and artists and stuff on the show itself, obviously, like yourselves, with this new album that's coming out. But yeah, no, like I said, back like the new metal side of things. Obviously, you guys have a turntablist as well, so I instantly fell in love with your band.
Oh, heck yeah.
Um, like as soon as like when I put your album on earlier today for the first, and I was hearing like the first couple of tracks, I hear these scratches, and I'm driving in my car, and I just like go, "Fuck yes," because it's not really there predominantly anymore. Obviously, we still got some of the big
Oh,
bands that have it. Um, obviously, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot. Um, Deftones to a certain degree. They do have a but he's more keyboards and synths and stuff. Um, and bands of that ilk, and there's Head P as well. And they all have DJs. But it's such a dying breed now. And I used to sort of fight the corner for the DJ and the band. Literally any magazine that interviewed us would always ask, why? And then online hate would be get rid of the fucking DJ, he does nothing, and all that kind of stuff.
they don't
And
know. They don't know how hard you guys work.
I know, right? It
Especially in Tallah. It's like we're not on tracks. We don't use clicks or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So we're like our DJ has to do all the samples, all the scratching, all the transitions between the songs. Like it's like this guy's studying for a test before
yeah.
we go on tour so that he has it all down and ready to go. All the 808s, everything.
And you have to like this is the thing as well because like we like my band it was 20 years ago, so we're not playing to clicks, we're not playing to tracks or anything like that. And literally it is, it's like you've got to kind of like when you're playing your synths or triggering samples, you've got to like hit this tap button to get it, like if the drummer is a bit faster or a bit
Yep.
slower depending on how much he's drunk or how much he's not. um um, and you're trying to tap it in time and stuff like that, and like and you've got to like yeah, you've just got to be prepared to be either quicker or slow. Like most of the musicians are probably the same. Like, because if the drummer is controlling the tempo, then it's it's down to him. But
Yep.
you're right. It's having to get all those bits to work every night. Because if you just leave them as one setting, it's not going to work every night. Because like
Oh,
yourselves, you guys don't play, to a click. You don't have backing tracks. You recorded this album, in fact, without all that. Which we'll talk about a bit in a moment. But yeah, I totally appreciate the the effort that they put in. Um, when it comes to that, I've lived that. I lived that for
Thank
about 10 years of my life. So it was you know, it was a good time though. It was a good time. I got albums out. I
It's
got
hard to find them too.
yes.
I
Yes.
know we lost our DJ in 2023. We were looking around for another one and we couldn't find anyone. And we ended up having our friend Thomas, who plays keys. We're like, can you just get like a DJ controller and be our DJ for a little while?
Oh, you see, and if I'd known, no, I don't live in the States. I used to live in the States, but I don't live in the States. I could have done that. But yeah, no, they are difficult to find because when I was sort of like, there was a few bands around when I was active in that field, and there was a couple that had DJs, but they were they weren't DJs, if that makes sense. They were
Yep.
just for the sake of having the DJ in the band, but don't
That's
actually
what we did
like.
originally. But then
Yeah.
we got an actual DJ for this album. He comes to the studio totally unprepared. He just flew in and just improv. And we were like, holy cow, he's really good. Like when you have somebody who can actually scratch on a record in time and just not think about it, they can just, it's so different than just having like a friend who you're like, hey, want to be our DJ?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And like I backed mine up. I did DJ sets around our shows. Like, we'd play various venues and then I do like an after party or something like that. I DJ clubs now. I do rock clubs and stuff. So here in the UK. So it's like I play pretty much every month now.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I also do like a drum and bass thing as well and all that kind of stuff. So, I dabble in different genres, but yeah, no, it's difficult to find a DJ because like I've encountered DJs like that and I was like, oh cool, what do you play? Or let's do a night together, this kind of collab on a back-to-back mix, and they're like, oh no, I don't do that. I make this like wiki sound and that's it. Um I'm like, oh, okay, cool, fine. Alone again. Um but yeah, no, I mean, like I said, that was like made me like instantly attracted to the band was the hearing that DJ sound because it always catches my ear. I listen to so much music, and when I hear that in a song, especially a metal song, I'm like, "Ooh, hello, uh, this is good." But then listen to it like this new album, uh, is amazing. Like I said before I hit record, I've had it on pretty much repeat for most of today.
Hmm.
I only got sent it the full thing today, but listening to the whole thing and it's a brilliant album. I love the rawness. I love the just the production of it is just it I don't know what it did. It just feels like that's where I don't know, that's where a lot of bands should be. Like it doesn't sound like hyper like overproduced type, the sort of big sort of sound that you get. There's a big sound in it,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but it's
that's what we were going for.
yeah.
'Cause
And
we don't really like those really polished processed mixes. Like if you're that type of band, that's fine. You do you. But Max and I were like, we're not really that type of band. Like we've always been this raw band. We should kind of embrace that even more and just totally not do a click for this album and try to be more raw with the tones. Like I always say, I did the whole vocals for this in one take.
yeah,
So it's like any mistakes that I made are there. It almost feels like a live performance that's just in a more controlled environment.
yeah.
And I think that makes the music a lot more special. I think it makes it more of an experience because it's like, that's how it is. That's how we recorded it that day. It's never going to sound like that again.
Yeah. No, I mean that was the thing when I was reading about like the sort of the story behind the album and stuff like that, and the fact you did this one take. That sounded absolutely insane. Like literally, like yourself in that dark room, no edits, no redos. Like and you used. Did you use the straight up SM57?
Yeah, I just went in the
Microphone?
closet with an
Yeah.
SM57.
Which again, like you can definitely hear that in the production of your voice as well, because I miss that sound. A lot of bands used to use that a long time ago. On stage, that mic. Um,
Yeah, I looked it up after I used it and I was like, this was like a legendary mic at one point in time. And I had no idea.
yeah, because the 58 eclipsed everything, and that because that
Mhm.
was used for everything. Like everyone had. I've got an SM58 somewhere around here.
Yeah, like
I'm sure
three
most
of
people
them.
have them in their drawers at home. I don't know, but the 57, I think initially they used it for drums. I think it was.
Yeah, drums and like guitar cabs.
Yeah, and then people start using it for vocals. And like back in my day, it was a lot of like hardcore, a lot of sort of like skate punk, stuff like that. A lot of bands like that were using that as their vocal mic, and then it just sort of disappeared.
So interesting too. It has such a unique sound.
Yeah.
I remember we did like a mic shootout when we did this album. I took is the first song, What We Know. I
Mm.
just sang the chorus of it with like 10 or 12 different mics. I can't remember. And we all just sat down and we listened to them and we didn't know which mic was which. We just listened to them. We wrote down the ones we liked the best. We're like, oh, I like number 6. I like number 8. And then afterward, the producer Josh was like, all of you liked the 57 the most. And we're just like, all right, let's use that one.
That's great. I love that. A blind test.
Just happened to fit the mix like perfectly.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean, it does. This whole like, I mean, I implore people to go listen to it now. Like, they can stop this and go listen to like the 5 tracks that are out right now. But yeah, September the 5th, the whole thing drops. We're gonna keep plugging it intermittently through this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, like going through it and like capturing that like one take, like how what was the mindset in that? Because like obviously like it's very these days that's very unusual. Like back in the day it was like we can't afford this studio, we want to spend as less time as possible in there, can we do this in one go, and then like, and obviously these days, like, because everyone's got a studio in their pocket, they can essentially do edits, cuts, all that kind of stuff in one go. What was your sort of like mindset going into that? Because like I just like want to know what you were kind of feeling like, enabling like to be able to like put yourself in this full, concept, if you will, of an album in that one take. Like,
It was weird to tell you the truth. So I've wanted to try something like this since Matriphagy, like the first album. I
yeah,
was like, I would always go to the studio because we keep working with Josh every album, and I'm like, I'm thinking about trying to do like every song in one take, and he'd be like, yeah, and then like we'd get to like vocals, and I'd get cold feet, and be like, no, 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 I can't do it, and then I would just do it, just like chunk by chunk, like maybe just like a verse in one take and a chorus. But like when I was in college, I did a lot of acting, so I know I can
okay,
perform things in one take.
yeah,
And on my YouTube channels, I do one takes all the time. And I was like, if I just study this enough, there's no reason I can't do it. Like it's just a live show. As long as I don't mess up the lyrics, there's zero reason why I can't do this. So we finished recording all the demos and I would just listen to it every day. I would go in my home studio and just practice it from start to finish, probably for like 4 or 5 months. So that by the time we finally got to the studio, I was like, I think I'm going to do it all in one take this time. And I was like, I don't really have a choice because I had just gotten off tour and I had caught pneumonia. I
yeah,
was still recovering from that. And I recently dropped a video. I had also, my ex had infected me with HIV.
oh wow,
And so I was dealing with the acute infection of that, but I didn't know I had it and it made the pneumonia worse.
yeah,
So suddenly we're in the studio and I'm like, I can't stop coughing. But if I just don't stop doing vocals, I won't start coughing until about the halfway point of the album. So I was like, it's perfect. Let me see if I can do this. And it was really funny. Josh, he like set everything up so that nothing would freeze. We could just do it in this one big long like 45-minute take.
yeah,
He usually he has a room for vocals and I was like, "Can I do it in this like dark closet cuz I just feel more comfortable. I've been practicing it in my vocal booth, which is just a giant dark area. I was like, I want it to I want all the conditions to be the same as that. And I've been practicing with a handheld. So the fact that we got the 57 worked even better. And yeah, we just kind of he hit record, and I was like, I only am gonna do this one time, so whatever happens, happens. And that was kind of the mindset going into it. And after we finished it, I just remember you can't hear it because we took it out, but after the very last song, "What We Want," I did the final vocal part, and I just went, "Fuck yeah!" I just threw the mic on the ground because I was so happy that I didn't mess up. Like it really was the perfect take. Like
yeah,
there's little mess ups in there that I notice, but I'm like the listener, the fan, they're not going to know there's mistakes.
yeah.
To them, that's just the album. They're going to have no idea. So it really ended up being the perfect take for anyone that's not me.
No, that's amazing because you're right. I didn't hear any mistakes. I heard like album and all the bits that were in there felt like it was part of this album.
Heck yeah.
Like, so,
Mission
yeah, I was
accomplished.
gonna say mission accomplished on that one. Well done. It's like it's a heck of a performance in that respect as well. Like,
Thank you.
and it's good to, I mean, it makes sense now that you have a more theatrical background, like an acting back, like, in that, in your blood, that you can do that and put that together as this, like, I mean, is the album follow a concept? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it. I mean, I know that's, I think it is actually, that's mentioned in the press release. So I should know this, but it does follow a narrative of some kind, doesn't it?
Correct.
And what just for the people at home, what does that, what is that following? Because it's obviously, it's called Primeval, and then you've got like Obsession, sorry, Detachment. Um, and what does that mean? What is that for, like, obviously for you, because other people can obviously read into it differently, as with most things in art, in that respect.
Absolutely.
But what is it? What is that concept to you? What is that story narrative to you?
So it was actually really cool. Initially, we didn't want to do a full album. We wanted to do two EPs that
Okay.
mirrored each other.
Yeah.
And the label was like, no, 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 you guys got to do like your third album. Like everybody's waiting for it. And we're like, all right. So we ended up fusing the two things together and it turned into the album. So that's why it's Primeval Obsession slash Detachment. It
Yeah.
originally was one EP was going to be Primeval Obsession and the other EP was going to be Primeval Detachment. Stuck them together. That's what you get.
Nice.
But it's following these two characters and it's taking place on this like whole different planet. So you got all this like weird, like alien stuff happening. But in a nutshell, if I were to just like summarize it without all the without all the crazy stuff, it's basically about these two people who live on completely different sides of the planet and they're approached by these like higher ups that are like in control of everything and they're both tasked with this very immoral thing that they have to do. And it really comes like the narrative of the concept is following these characters and like, are they going to do it? How do they feel about it? Do they think it's right? Do they think it's wrong? What do they feel like they're pushed into it and they can't get out? And it's just this kind of like juxtaposition because the two concepts, again, it's like a mirror. They're opposite of each other, but they're also the same.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to play with these ideas of like ethics and morality and like what's going to like are they going to do it, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun to write it.
Nice. I like that because a lot of people don't. Well, I found these, like, a lot of people don't. When it comes to albums, it's literally like, usually a bunch of singles, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no flow. There's no flow to it. There's no story going through it, or a concept of some kind. It's very few and far between these days. Um, and no, that's what I kind of found refreshing, is having that kind of like that story almost
Heck yeah.
go in it. And like say, if it was supposed to be two, then it feels like, because then, I mean, these days, because we're back with vinyl, you can do side A, side B, and you can like split them up nicely that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or have two, gatefold vinyl with two vinyl and all that kind of stuff, whichever you can do now. But like, have it like, yeah, and doing like having that story running through it, I feel like it's a nice change, uh
Thank you.
on
It
that
was
front.
it was really cool because usually we do concept albums, but it's vocal concepts.
Yeah.
This time around, the instrumentals joined in. So the way the songs are structured, you can kind of see from the titles. It's like you've got these two songs at the beginning, and or this one song at the beginning, what we know, and we have this one song at the end, what we want. Then you've got augmented, and then depleted, and then as fate undoes and undone by fate. Then you've got primeval obsession, primeval detachment. So it's like each one is opposite of the other one, and
Yeah.
they kind of meet in the middle with lacuna. And like chronologically, the way the story would work is you would start with what we know. That's think of that as chapter one,
Yes.
and then that goes all the way down to primeval obsession. Then chapter one of the second EP would start with primeval detachment and then go all the way down to the end. So it's a chronological story. It's
Yeah.
not like it restarts, but Lacuna is technically the end of the whole story. It's almost like they meet here and then we see the end of this, the beginning of this, but the beginning of this is actually in it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's almost like it goes in reverse. And it's really cool. Like there's a lot of instrumental like reprises that come in
Yes. Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, can I take this chorus from this other song and shove it in this song but make it feel not like a chorus? Like how do we make it so it's feels like this one giant thing but also feel like each thing can be listened to individually?" It was really challenging, but it was also so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, I'm looking at the track listing now, and I'm like, I want to listen to it like that. I want to listen to, track one to track five, and then track 11 to track seven, and then listen to track six, like in
Yeah,
that order.
it's a
Like,
different vibe.
I know I love that idea. I've always loved that. There's only been a few bands that have messed around with stuff like that I can remember anyway. Or having like these weird, not weird things, but like having these multi-layered stories on top of stuff. Like I think it was Neurosis. I don't know if you're aware of that band. They're highly like sort of like heavy tribal kind of noise scape type band. But they released an album and then they released an additional CD which you can play at the same time as the album,
Oh,
and it would add an extra layer of sonic like noise and stuff like that to that album. So you'd have
oh, that is so
effectively,
cool.
but listening to it on its own, it's just kind of like noise scapes and all that kind of stuff. The other one had like, structured songs, but putting them on top of each other or playing them at the same time. I think they had an additional, a third one as well, I believe. I think that's the myth, but there was definitely two. And just like I've always wanted to kind of make something like that, but never like something like this I love as well, because I'm like, that's such a fucking cool thing to do. And like having, because I was listening to it and you got like the opening track, which the last track kind of mimics, because when I was listening to it, it kind of like obviously repeated on itself, so you get like
Mhm.
11 then back to 1 and so forth. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have to listen to it in that order now. You've I'm gonna yeah.
Very cool. It's
um,
a
and
different, slightly different experience.
yeah, exactly. So anyone that is actually watching this and like, oh wow, and then get the album, do the same thing. Um, because that would be amazing. But no, I mean, like I said, the album is out on September the 5th. Again, people go pre-order it. It is pre-orderable on the Earache website and probably your local stockist as well. I always push like the physical product over the streaming, but if streaming is the only
Yeah.
thing you can afford, there is no shame in that. I'm just in a very fortunate position to be able to buy music still at my
Yeah.
age.
Plus, you buy the music, it's yours. You own it. You have it forever.
That's kind of the thing. I'm building up this collection now of like movies and music. I mean, I've always got stacks of music anyway. So there's got these like boxes around me everywhere. They're full of vinyl, and there's like, when I used to DJ with CDs, I've got stacks of CDs everywhere. But like movies, I'm building up because I'm like, you know what? There's always a film I want to watch, and it's never on the streaming services. So
Hmm.
why not? Why not buy the film for as cheap as possible from from a
Yeah,
secondhand?
I mean, that's what I remember growing up. It's like if I wanted to watch one of my favorite movies, you just throw in the VHS and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, you're like, oh, I gotta go look around and see if I can even find this because I want to watch it.
I want to watch it, and then like
Go
you
on some
realize.
like crazy Russian website. I'm like, I might get viruses, but they have it.
That was the music track back in the day, wasn't it? So LimeWire giving you the Linkin Park MP3, but giving you that virus that kills the family computer at the same time.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to build up this like collection so that like when I want to watch something, I can just go pick it, or I'm gonna invest in this like I've seen this 400 disc DVD player.
Oh,
I can just put the discs in, and it's got like a little digital display at the front, so you can sort of go through it and select the films you want, and it'll
oh,
go
that it's cool. It's like your own platform.
kind of like a jukebox. Yeah, exactly. Um, and
Awesome.
and that way I don't get in trouble for copying it to a file or making a digital file of it. I've got the original thing in the machine.
Yeah.
As long as that machine works, I'm fine. But yeah, I'm tempted to invest in one. They do exist. I have seen them, but
I've never even heard of that. That's so cool. I
yeah,
might want to get one of
yeah,
those.
let's start a movement. But there's ones you can get for CD players, like traditional CDs, obviously, because you get jukeboxes and all that kind of stuff. So it's built on that technology. But yeah, the DVD one, I was like, yes, I've got to have that, because then I can just put like 400 films in there. And
Yeah.
there's always something I want to watch, and I don't have to pay for whichever streaming services. At that point, I can kind of trim that down because there are so many. And like, there's going to be a point where I'm like, there's just nothing on it. I mean, technically, I'm at that point now where I just keep scrolling through what's on there, and I'm just not plussed by anything. So
Yeah, I mean the industry is a little different now. I'm like, I can't remember the last time I was excited about like a new movie coming out. It just seems like rehashes of the same thing over and over again.
yeah, there is that. Like, it is very difficult to get, like, yeah. I'm actually struggling with the same thing. I can't think of anything recently that has really kind of I've wanted to see. I saw Weapons the other day. Um,
I didn't even heard of that.
it's a horror movie. Um,
Okay.
and I'm not going to spoil it for you because anything I'm about to say will spoil it. But it was actually pretty good. Um, but I went to the cinema randomly with my wife, and she was like, "Can we go see this film?" Because she'd seen stuff about it. I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." And yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like, and it was just a random thing, so it was like it wasn't like I was
Okay.
expecting to see it. It's like because at the moment you've got things like Superman and all that kind of stuff out, which is like just dominating, and this horror
Yeah.
movie kind of comes in under the radar, and it's getting relatively good reviews by the looks of things. But yeah, no, it was good fun. It was good fun.
Have you seen The Substance?
No, no,
That's probably one of the few that recently came out that I watched it 3 times in a row. It's
okay,
like a body horror thing, and it's insane. The twists and turns, it just takes this direction you do not expect it to go. And you're just like, what is happening? But like the message is cool. Um, it's a fantastic film if you like horror.
I do.
But it's like you said, it just kind of flew under the radar. One of my friends was like, "Hey, you got to check out this movie," and then I had to show it to all my friends after that. I was like, "You have to see this."
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I've written that down. I've got that on my notepad just there in my corner of
Oh
my phone.
heck yeah, it's
So
it's wild.
I'm gonna definitely check that out. I always love recommendations when it comes to this sort of thing, and yeah, no, I'd definitely check that out. That's really cool.
It's very artsy. It's high budget, high quality, but like you can tell they put a lot of thought into the story. They got really fantastic actors,
Mm.
but like the special effects, because it's like practical effects. It's that
Oh
old
wow,
school
okay,
like from The Thing,
yeah,
like the original one. Like it's not just CGI. It's like somebody made this stuff and made it. And it's just like, oh, this is disgusting.
I love that. Honestly, I love like that's the missing thing for me. Like in a lot of films, it's like a lot of them do resort to CGI, but I love
Mhm.
practical effects. I'm a big, massive fan of like in any film using like the original methods, if you will,
Yeah.
because
And that, circling back to it, that's how we felt about the music. Like
yeah,
those older approaches, there's just something about it. It's so like it just feels like you got a whole team of people and you all put yourselves together to make this awesome thing rather than just like, all right, well, we want an explosion, so we'll just send it off and get someone to CGI an explosion in there. Like, no, blow something up. Like
yeah.
it's gonna look so much better.
Yeah, yeah, because some of that graphic stuff is awful. I've seen
Yeah.
some of those like low, high budget. They've paid for the actor, but not the effects movies,
Oh yeah.
um, and they're very very common. Um, and yeah, sometimes it's very laughable effects. But yeah, practicals like saying taking it back to the album and taking it back to those bare bones of just like yeah, recording the music, the instrumentation, and yeah, and can you do that one take in a movie? Probably not. Or actually no, you probably could.
Oh yeah, there are so
There
many
are
like
some, yeah,
they're not that popular, but there are films where they've literally filmed the entire thing in one take, and it's like basically watching a play with like a high
yes,
def camera moving around between the actors.
yeah,
It's so interesting to watch.
yeah. I watched the Woody Harrelson one. I don't know if you saw that. We did the one in London.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, that was amazing. Like he just did this whole one sort of take movie essentially. And of his like just this story going through London. I think he was chasing something down, but
That
it
sounds cool.
yeah, I saw it a while, and that instantly just came to mind when you mentioned that. And when I mentioned there was not that many, and then I thought of that one. But that was a one take, and it was a live like recording. So he was going through, and obviously the people in London were like, kind of like, that's Woody How like not because he was so
Oh,
quick
they
with it.
weren't in on it either. Like it was
No,
just that's
no.
wild.
So just going through, but he made this whole movie. I think Amazon had something to do with it because it was on that, if I remember rightly. But it's worth checking out. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I was just looking around here to see if I could
I'll
find it.
just look up like Woody Allen one take live movie or something.
I'm gonna look it up now just so I've got it. Woody Harrelson, um, London. Yeah,
Oh,
so
Woody Harrelson.
yeah, Woody Harrelson. So yeah,
Oh,
not Woody Allen. Sorry. Um, but yeah, no, I'm gonna try and bring that out. Yeah, it's called Lost in London.
Lost in
Um,
London. Okay.
it was known as Lost in London Live, and it's got looks like it's got yeah, Woody Harrelson directed it, wrote it. Um, it's also got Owen Wilson in it as well. So it looks like it's got a few people in it. But yeah, that was I think it's on Hulu, I think, if you have Hulu in the States there. If you're
So
subscribed to that.
cool.
But it's on that. But yeah, no, that just sort of came to mind. Sorry, random movie trivia there. Um, but yeah, I've got a couple of questions left for you, Justin, if that's all right.
Sure, yeah.
Before I let you go, because I know I'm conscious of time. I don't know how long I've actually supposed to have you for, but we were talking a lot, and that's all good. That's what I like about this show. Um,
Yeah, we're hanging out.
but yeah, I've got a couple of questions left. These is just sort of more about your own sort of like background and stuff like that. But what I like to find out from my guests are their three most pivotal records in their life. So, not necessarily your favorite three records of all time. I'm not looking for a top three of anything. I'm looking for like pivotal songs or
Oh,
albums that
okay.
that made a difference in your life. So you heard a song when you were really young, and you're like, oh, I want to be in a band. I want to make music. I want to be, or something like that. Just something along your life. Those songs that kind of had those moments for you. They're not, like I say, not necessarily favorite best albums, or even like
Okay. The ones that
artists you
kind of
really
really
listen to. You know,
okay, okay. That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before.
that's good.
I'd say the first one, it's gonna sound weird, but I remember when I was a kid, I think it was on what was that? It was like MTV. It was Weird Al. It's all about the Pentiums.
Yes.
And that was the first time that I heard like heavy music.
Nice.
And I use like air quotes because it's got like the guitar in it, and then Weird Al's like rapping, but he's also kind of yelling.
Yep.
And I must have been like 7 or 8 years old or something. And I was like, Mom, will you buy me this CD? I love this. Because my mom, she didn't listen to heavy music at all. She listened to like Tupac and Jodeci and Ricky Martin. So that was probably the first pivotal album because after that, all I wanted to listen to was rock and metal. And it just
Yeah.
kind of went from there. But that's the one that started it all for sure.
Awesome. I love that. Weird Al was your gateway. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking love that. Like he
I
over the
remember
years.
I
Yeah.
got my mom to buy me every Weird Al CD, and then I heard the Smells Like Nirvana,
Mm.
and I wanted to hear the original version of it because I liked Weird Al's parody so much. And I again like that's just a heavy song.
Yeah.
Those are the ones for sure. I guess another one would be probably I'd say Element 80 Broken Promises
Okay.
because that song was on I think Need for Speed Underground 1 or Need for Speed Underground 2.
Yep.
That was my introduction to screaming vocals. And I had never really heard actual like false chord screaming stuff before. And I was like, this is really cool. I've only heard people sing or like yell. So that was a big pivotal moment for me.
Nice.
And then I think number three is actually going to be Avenged Sevenfold Backcountry
Oh, nice.
because M Shadows, that was the first time I ever heard his voice, and he has such a unique and distinct voice. But then also Sinister Gates's guitar playing. At the time, I wasn't a vocalist. It was like 2006 or no, 2005. I was a guitar player. So hearing him shred and the double harmonies and stuff like that, I was like, I've never heard this before. And it really influenced my playing, which then influenced like my lyric writing. And when I became a vocalist, like my vocalizations. And I'd say those are probably the three albums that I would attribute to being like the biggest like checkpoints in my life where I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, Weird Al. I've not heard Weird Al in the 310 episodes I've done of this. No one's
Really?
mentioned Weird Al in this, and that's the first for me. And I'm here for it. I love Weird Al over the years. His parodies, like even his movie, was it VHF? Uh,
UHF?
yeah,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
his random cameo in like Naked Gun, where at the start of the first movie, and it's just stuff like that. And like and I've seen him live, and it's just mind blowing and total entertainment package. Um,
Such a good vocalist. And I
yeah,
think people don't realize that. Like he has a huge vocal range, but when he does these parodies, he's copying the style of everyone he parodies.
yeah,
It's not just Weird Al, it's Weird Al doing this in the style of Kurt Cobain.
yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, and no, totally. And like just doing like, I don't know, his Michael Jackson ones, like Eat It, and
Yeah.
the Living in the Fridge as well, which is the Aerosmith one,
Yeah.
which I absolutely fucking
Yes.
love.
I
Um,
love Weird Al.
and the videos are amazing. To that. And
He's
he's like,
so creative.
yeah, so, and it's like, I don't know if it's like, I mean, in this country, I think, yeah, he's not heard of that much. I've been quite fortunate to be exposed to a lot of American culture over my life. And like I say, I lived over in the States for a good while over in Florida, and my wife's American, so I've got that influence as well. So it's just like, and Weird Al, he comes over here and he does well, like he does sell out venues and whatnot. But yeah, I just think it's just so underrated here.
Yeah.
It's such like for parody reasons, like like we love a good parody song here, and he writes the best
Oh
one.
yeah, he's
So
hands down the best of the best. He's
totally.
great live. He seems like such a genuine guy. You've never seen him
Yeah.
get involved in any weird like controversies or anything. Like he's just a dude that spent his life doing what he loved, and I
Hell of a
idolize that so much.
hell of an accordion player as well. Um, all the good things. But Element 80 as well. I mean, video game influence. This is another thing that I've found a few people have mentioned in the past. Obviously, Tony Hawk's being the sort of pinnacle of that. But I had one. I think I spoke to a guy last week. He said it was like there was a track in a Tekken Street Fighter crossover game that got him into metal because it was the first time he heard like these heavy guitars and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
which is amazing. And I love that because I love video games. I have for my whole life, like from very primitive games to what we've got now. But music in games has always been like, I love music, video game music in general. So the bits
So good.
and I've got like the Streets of Rage soundtracks on vinyl and stuff like that. I'm that much of a geek on that front. But when like EA started putting music in video games, I'm going back to the days of a game called Road Rash, which was like the
Is it the motorcycle one?
motorcycle one. But
Yeah, I
the
used to play
one
that on
on
Sega.
yeah, the one on yeah, I used to have that on the Genesis, and but on the newer systems like the 3DO and the PlayStation, they started putting music videos in it. So you get like Soundgarden and Jesse and all these like grunge acts and rock acts and stuff like that. And that just exposed me to a whole bunch of bands that I haven't really heard before. Um, and it's doing a lot for everyone. It's done it for you in this particular game, the Need for Speed game, which I
Yep.
believe yeah, is an EA game. But yeah, it's just so underrated like method of getting music out there. I feel like it's sort of it's a subtle art, but it's like if you hear that song, you're like, what is it? I want that, and now you can kind of shazam.
Yeah, and you hear it over and over again.
Yeah,
I played a lot of race car games, and I would just the those Need for Speed games. They would have all these different genres, and I would notice when certain songs came on, I would drive better and I would win. So I would go in and turn off all the songs I didn't want, and I'm like, give me just the metal ones. Like,
yeah.
give me the Unwritten Law song, the Marilyn Manson song. I'm like, these are the ones that I should like just loop them. And then after a while, I'm like, I kind of just want to buy the album because I've heard the song so many times.
Yeah, and that's when you get a real car, you put it in, and that's when you get into trouble.
Oh yeah, I drive a Mustang and I've gotten in quite a bit of trouble with
I was
it.
gonna say, yeah, that will do it, won't it? And you have the right soundtrack. I did that. I get that with drum and bass music, which is like an electronic.
Oh yes.
And like whenever that comes on, I get like a pendulum track come on, or a high focus track, or a sub all that. Like there's a lot of like band groups here, but yeah, I just suddenly my speed limit got the speed limit in my car goes up, and
And
like
you're like, wait, hold speed
yeah,
limit's 60. I'm going like
yeah.
105. I gotta
Yeah.
slow down.
Especially if my wife's in the car, she notices and she's like, Barney, slow down. I know the music's taking you, but slow down. It's 174 BPM, not 174 miles per hour.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Avenged Sevenfold, I mean, legendary band that they are now. But Backcountry was an amazing track back then. I can see how that
Yeah,
would.
I it's funny. I found them on accident because I was on iTunes and I used to go on iTunes and I would go to the metal section and just listen to every band in like alphabetical order because
Yeah.
iTunes would have those like 15 to 30-second previews of the songs.
Yes. Yeah.
And I would judge the song based on that. And if I liked the song, I would go on LimeWire and ruin the family computer getting these
Yeah.
songs because I didn't want to pay for them. But I remember I was in the A section and I was like, oh, Avenged Sevenfold. That sounds like it could be a cool one.
Yeah.
Saw that album, checked out that song, and I was just like, I I need this. So
Yeah.
I downloaded that Backcountry, Trashed and Scattered, and Blinded in Chains.
Nice.
And I just listened to those three songs religiously until I convinced my mom to get me the album. Because I was like 15, so I was still in that age where it's like you need your parents' permission to get the
Yes.
album. You can't just
Yeah.
go download whatever you want yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that time. The parental advisory stickers on everything. That helps
Yep.
us pick the good albums, to be fair.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
because if it had that, you knew it was good. But I'm a little bit older than you, but I would have been like, Guns N' Roses and stuff like that, and that sort of era in that respect. But no, I grew up mainly in the new metal side of things. So like, first Korn album, first Deftones album, all that kind of lot. Incubus, back when they were doing more funky stuff, like in Science and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard
Oh yeah, different
that
shade of green
early.
and stuff like that. The weird stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Now they're not doing so much of that, but it's still a solid band, don't get me wrong. But I really love those first couple of Fungus Among Us and Science albums. Um they got that, and that's actually what your album reminded me of as well. Like that
Very cool. That's
early
a compliment.
Incubus like sound that I really loved. Like that, it's got that funk element, it's got that like obviously the new metal element, which I'm heavily into and carrying the flag for. Um, but yeah, no, it's like yeah, those sort of bands back then were great. But I got one more question for you.
Yeah, no problem.
What are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not doing stuff for Tallah, and you're not writing music for anything else, is there anything else you do away? Because I can see you got a lot of guitars in the background there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess guitars relate to the music,
Yeah, they
but
do. They do.
outside of music, I spend a lot of time drawing. I've been learning how to draw since 2023. So over
Okay.
the last like 2.5 years, but like I will draw like 4 or 6 hours a day. I will just throw on like an anime or like a movie and just sit there and draw. And it's so cathartic. When we're on tour, I will just disconnect from everybody in the back of the van and just sit there with like a headlamp on and just draw stuff like a mad scientist.
Nice.
That's probably my biggest one. Another one would be I love writing, just
Okay. Yeah.
writing stories. I'm working on this like 5 book series called From Windfall to Hell, and I just finished the second book back in December.
Okay.
I haven't released anything yet. I want to
Okay. I was
finish
about to ask.
all 5 before I release anything
Yeah.
because I don't want to release something and then like change my mind about something and be like, no, I already released it, so I'm locked into this idea now. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the concept albumy stuff does come from. Is I'm just a storyteller. I love
Yeah.
writing and telling stories. And then a third hobby, I guess this is one I just picked up, is I really like going onto like Google Maps,
Yep.
finding like an area that's like a state forest that doesn't have like any traffic or anything,
Yep.
and then just getting all my hiking gear and just going into the forest. I'll get like trail markers so I don't get lost. And
Okay.
then I'll just camp out there for a night or two and then come home and no technology or anything. It's so fun.
Nice.
Just I'm just out there and you just hear like the crickets. I set up like a little tripwire thing with jingle bells so that like bears don't like sneak up
Ah,
at me in the middle
nice.
of the night. And it's scary. Like you're out there by yourself. And I got like a hatchet and like a hunting knife. And I'm just like, oh man, like I'm out here by myself. There's like a serial killer in my area, so that may have me like even more like nervous about it because I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I'm just out there like, what if he's out here?
Yeah.
it's so
I mean,
it's scary, but then I come home and I'm like, that was amazing. I got to go out again in like another 2 weeks. So
okay.
that's been like my new hobby. I just started doing that probably like 2 months ago.
Nice. I mean, that sounds amazing. I've always kind of like actually more recently wanting to get out into more nature related things. I've managed to. I went to visit my sister-in-law in Slovakia with the family, and we went sort of. We didn't go hiking, but we went through. They've got like a wooded hill area that
Mm.
it's got trails and stuff that we went through. So we did that walk, and that was really nice.
I
Um,
encourage everybody to do it. It's so hard, much harder than you'd think it would be.
mm,
Like the first time I went out there, it took me 3 hours to get a fire started with a flint and steel. Like I thought I was prepared. I had everything I needed, and I'm like, it will not catch. And I just sat there. It started raining, and I like wanted to cry. I'm like, dude, I've been sitting here, like I had blisters on my fingers. I'm like, I cannot get this fire started. And then finally, I had all this twine. Like I said, I make these like tripwire things,
Yeah.
and I was like, I took the twine and I started unraveling it to like make like these tiny little thread shaved
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And finally, I struck the flint and it caught, and I was like, oh! I almost didn't know what to do because I was so happy. And then I got like set up this little twig stove, and I was cooking potatoes and peppers, and it was just like,
Beautiful.
it's amazing. It's just disconnecting from social media and the internet. And like, I've got my phone turned off in my bag, like in case of an emergency. But
Yeah.
just being out there and knowing like you're doing this, like go fishing and you like catch a fish and gut it yourself and you cook that fish. And you're, if for some reason, it could be like the shittiest little fish. And you're just like, dude, I caught this and I prepared it and cooked it. And you're just like, oh, this is so cool. It just feels amazing.
It is, I mean, it is a lost art in that respect because it is an element of like, I guess it's survival. Like,
Oh,
should the world go to shit, even though it is kind of in some respects shit right now. But it's not like, where we're having to leave our houses and do that kind of stuff. So we're not like at that point. But if ever it does, or you get stuck in a certain situation, you break down in the middle of nowhere, you've got all these like bits, but you haven't got what you can build a fire, you can keep warm, you can potentially go catch a fish, a rabbit, or whatever, and you've got no problem in preparing that to survive. And there's that element, like you said, when you got that fire started, that takes you back to that kind of like Neanderthal thing of
yeah.
man discovered fire, and you're like, and you're dancing around it because you've just like done something you've obviously you've been trying for hours as well.
It feels like magic. It really does.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, because like I said, I've only been doing this for like 2 months, but I'm sure like the next record, it's gonna influence that because those types of experiences you have, like you said, you go out there alone. So it's existential. Like you're scared. You're like, dude, if I mess this up,
Yeah.
something could happen. Some animal could sneak up on me. And it's definitely going to influence my writing. And I think a very positive way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's like, I mean, obviously in the States, you do have the bears. Like you said, you've got a bear,
You got
potential bear.
bears, coyotes, mountain lions.
I
Like,
mean, I mean,
who
here
knows?
you don't have that as such. We got foxes, stuff like that, but they're not as threatening, if you will.
Mhm.
You might have like, I don't know, unless something escapes a zoo. I think here I'm quite lucky where you don't have like many indigenous dangerous animals that can protect. But going to Europe, you do have bears, you do have, all that kind of stuff as well to contend with. Um,
It's even, I can't even imagine if I lived in like areas like India where like there's like tigers out there and like
yeah,
crocodiles. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Like I feel privileged that I only have to worry about bears.
yeah. No, I mean, like I said, when I lived in Florida, it was like it was alligators.
Yeah.
That was the main thing, and coyotes. They were the two things. I got a little dog, and and it was like when I was out walking, well, I walked with a stick because we knew we had coyotes in the neighborhood,
Yep.
and we're like, because I'd found like a half-eaten rabbit on my driveway and stuff like that. So
Oh man.
yeah, I know what a way to wake up that, and thankfully my kids didn't see it, because they would have freaked them the hell out. But
Yeah.
yeah, but like, walking out, like, because it was so hot, I do like I go out at like, 10, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning to take the dog for a walk. And yeah, I'd literally have to go with a stick. I had a stick ready to go. I never had to use it, but to like fight off any coyotes because my dog would have no chance at all. She'd get ripped to shreds.
Oh.
So she was a tiny little toy-sized dog. So it was like, this big me walking around, but I still needed to stick to kind of like protect her. But yeah, no, like here I can go out and there's like foxes, but that's it. They're not really, they'd run away from me anyway, because they're not
Mhm.
like human, they don't interact with humans that much. Um, but yeah, no, that's crazy. And it's like, it's having those survivalist skills are going to be incredibly useful no matter what. If you're out on tour, it's useful because you need to survive on tour, and if you've run out of money
Yeah.
on tour,
You're basically
how
homeless.
you've got to know
Man.
how to feed the at least feed the drummer. um so otherwise you end up in a live situation where you end up eating each other, and you don't end up
Oh, we don't want that.
no, we don't want that at all, because you know where each other of you have been, so it's like but anyway, Justin, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's been
thanks
an
for having me. It's
absolute
been a blast.
amazing chat and good luck with the album. I look forward to
Thank you.
hopefully seeing you guys live, but good luck on your tour. Good luck on the tour with King 810 or 810, or is it 810?
I think it's 810 because it's the zip code for where they're
Oh,
from, Flint, Michigan.
okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I mean they're a fantastic band as well, by the way.
I'm really pumped. They're
Yeah.
so cool.
So yeah, good luck on that tour, and hopefully we'll see you over in the UK at some point next
For
year.
sure.
Thought, unless you do a last minute thing, but I'm sure Earache will bring you over. They'd be silly not to.
Yeah.
Um, Digby, come on, Digby, get him over here. If you're watching it, I doubt he's watching this, but but yeah,
Oh,
he might be. Quality control. I don't know. But yes, no, thank you again. Like I say, good luck with the album. It is out, everyone. It is Primeval Obsession Detachment is out on September the 5th. So it's a couple of weeks away. Couple of weeks. That's mad. But it's available on all formats. You can get it on CD. You can get it on vinyl. Is there a cassette tape?
if there's not, there should be.
There should be a cassette tape. If not, Tallah cassette tapes. There are t-shirts. There are bundles. I've seen them all on the website. But your local independent record store as well. Ask them to order it in because it is earache, so they will have worldwide distribution. So wherever you are, get them to order it. Pre-save it as well. If your digital is your only method, pre-save it. Uh, we're going to hit every angle with this one. But ask your radio station. There's an old one. Ask your radio station to play it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one counts. That one's
yeah,
you'd be surprised.
it's an underrated use, that one, I think. Now, I used to work for a rock station, and yeah, requests very like, for new bands, very, very few and far between these days. But I remember the days where you know, you send a message to your local DJ and say, play this band. Um, So I'm going to bring that back along with like I'm carrying that torch for new metal. I'm going to bring the torch back for radio as well.
Heck yeah. It
Yeah,
always feels cool. I remember I had one of my friends, they were playing a Tallah song on the radio and he like filmed it with his phone and was like, dude, no way. And I was like, what? Like it
I love
feels cool to be on
that.
the radio.
Yeah, it's such an underrated method of music distribution, I feel. Especially when like radio stations will play other stuff than the playlist sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But yes, again, Justin, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You as
And
well.
like I said, good luck with the album.
Thank you so much, man.
No worries. You have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you.
You as well. Cheers.